I'm nervous. Hello, everyone. This is Attorney Gehi, and we have 1 more minute to go. So, folks, so hope you all are enjoying these wonderful sessions. It's fabulous being on this program because we also get to learn from people who've been giving some fabulous comments to us with reference to what kind of webinars we need to have. And yes, of course, we are happy to state that a lot of you want to come in as speakers. And very soon, Mike will be reaching out to you, and Mike is here with us. And Mike, if you could just do me a favor, if you could turn your system off before we start, that'll be great. So I think Mike is frozen over here. So end of the day, I believe, like I think our background viewers, if could help us out, that'll be good. So that's going to be fantastic. All right. So he's going to log in again. So it's 3 o'clock, so let's get started. So folks, the great news is that a lot of people have been kind of joining us. And the reason they're joining us, because they understand the value of the information that we get from the world of law. My very special thanks to Greg, who's Mr. Brilliant, whom I would call. And we have another fabulous speaker joining us today, who actually used to work for immigration before. And here she comes. So you name the celebrity and the celebrity appears here. And we have Suraya Rahman, who was actually with immigration before, and she was in the asylum department. And she is not with the government anymore. And she works for Gay and Associates. And she is someone who has done a lot of VAWA cases in the firm. And as you all know, the great energy that Greg brings to it, to this particular forum, we are going to talk to him about advanced issues in VAWA. And my job is going to be kind of teaching you from my experience about the difficult cases that I've handled before the immigration court with reference to VAWA. So a warm welcome to Greg. And above all, we have Mike over here. Welcome, Mike. And he's from My Legal Software. And thanks to Mike for making these things happen. And to Ravi, who's actually the brain behind it. And of course, Priyanjali, who is actually, the brilliant woman who makes things happen for all of us. So we have a fabulous team here. So Greg and Suraya, and they both are fantastic attorneys. They've dealt with a lot of our cases. And of course, you have Naresh Gehi, who's been doing this for a very long time. And Mike is here from My Legal Software. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Mike always. And Mike, welcome. And it's a pleasure having you. A few words from you of how you can help people with VAWA cases, etc. So if they want to learn that technology, they can come to you so they can use My Legal Software. How are you today, Mike?
Thank you for having me. Yes, as you explained, with them having any issues, My Legal Software can assist them in various manners with our general practice suite and our immigration software as well. So let's
Mike, are people very happy when they use My Legal Software when it comes to understanding immigration issues?
Yes, they are very, very excited with it. One of the major factors is our forms that are integrated into the system, which makes life so much easier for every attorney out there.
That's great. So if they want to reach you, they can call you at 934 Law Tech. And thank you for having us, as always, on your programs. And I'm sure this time we have a house full. We have more than 300 people who have registered. Greg, you're such a brilliant speaker. Surah is so brilliant that you're more than 300 people listening to you.
Yes.
I will try.
All right, so great. So let's hit the nail on the head and let's get started. VAWA. So for people, we are going to kind of make sure that everyone, including a new lawyer, a lawyer who's in practice for a long time, that he gets something for us today. And we are going to have people who are paralegals, who are senior paralegals, understand things that they might have not known about VAWA before. So let me do the honors. And this is the way we are going to do it. I'm going to give the initial pointers. After that, Greg will do some talking. And after that, if Suraya Rahman, who's here, will just be kind of, giving us about some pointers from her experience about VAWA. And number one is that one common thing which I've seen is that people get confused between a battered spouse, a I-360, and a VAWA application for people who are new to immigration. For people who are paralegals, For people who haven't done a VAWA application before, I'm going to explain the difference. Our I-360 is a battered spouse petition, which is filed before USCIS. The exclusive jurisdiction of the Form I-360 is with the USCIS. Do both the lawyers agree with me on this? Yes or no? Suraya, what is your say on that?
Yes, that is correct. USCIS has exclusive jurisdiction over the I-360.
Excellent. Greg, do you concur? So we have a panel over here who's going to conquer so people can learn the right way. So today is a different way of training people.
Yes, I concur. However, if you're in immigration court, you could also do VAWA cancellation.
Yes, we are going to talk about that later. We don't want to give away everything. This is a competition,
Okay.
and it's like a Jeopardy competition that's going to go on today.
Okay.
So we are going to exchange question and answer so people can learn over here. So you can pose questions to me, and we'll pose questions to each other, and we'll see who's right. And we're going to press the buzzer. Wow, we're done.
Okay.
All right. So it's a Jeopardy today.
Okay.
People can also enjoy VAWA Jeopardy. Violence Against Women's Act. Does that apply to men? The question goes to Greg.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes.
All
Do we
right.
have buzzers like in Jeopardy?
All right.
We have
Good.
I can go.
Great.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Good. So you heard from Greg that Violence Against Women's Act applies to men, applies to women, and whom else can it apply to?
I can answer.
Yes.
It can also apply to parents of children who are adult children who are abusive.
Very good. The common misconception is that people think VAWA does only apply to spouses. Not true. Applies to children as well as to parents. Next question to Suraya. Can it apply to a transgender person?
Absolutely. It could apply to any human being, however they identify.
Look at that. That is such an important thing for people to know that VAWA applies to children. And how do you define a child under immigration law, Suraya Rahman?
Unmarried and under 21 years old.
And Greg, what is the main requirement of VAWA?
That you're abused by the relative.
Was subjected to
Extreme emotional abuse.
extreme cruelty. You got one minus
Extreme.
point. Tang.
I'm corrected. Okay. Minus
Extreme
$100.
cruelty. Okay, you're going to get it back again.
Extreme
You can get your points back with the candy together today.
Okay.
All right. Another important thing is that do I have to be married if I'm applying for VAWA and as an abuser spouse?
Yeah. Yes.
Your answer, Suraya.
Yes, you have to, if it's based on being a spouse, yes, there are alternative reliefs available if you're not married.
Okay, so your answer is that you have to be married. You
Yeah.
are correct. 100 points. Now, another question. You got married and your spouse was street smart. He did not register your marriage in court, but he took you to a synagogue and the rabbi blessed both of you. And the rabbi said, good luck, you both are married and I wish you happiness, success, and good wishes. Are you married under the law?
Ding, ding.
Yeah. Yeah. I was... No.
Suraya Rahman, the question goes to you. 1,
Yeah.
2.
So,
No.
yeah, no.
Yes
So
or no is
it's no. So there's the issue
Yeah.
of whether it's sufficient under matrimonial law.
answer is just a yes or no.
For immigration purposes, you can argue that you were under the impression that you were legally married.
Oh, okay.
Gregory Polito, yes or no?
So if you're, I would say no, but Soraya's educating me. If you're under the impression that you're legally married,
You know, in Jeopardy, you can only say a yes or a no, and you move on to the next question, folks.
no, you have to
Jeopardy.
give the answer. So I would say,
So you're dealing with Alex
What
Trebek
is-
over here, the other version of Alex Trebek over here. So
what is
now,
a legal marriage?
What is it? Depends.
Okay.
Okay, so Alec Trebek would never take those answers, and I'm Alec Trebek's new replacement of the show, whom I really admire, and who used to kind of say that he's one of the best hosts I've ever met in my life. So my answer to your question is, it is a valid marriage provided you look at state law. Now, question for all the people who are watching the show. I'm going to teach you the twists and turns of VAWA, which you might have not known, folks. This is meant for the audience from Naresh M. Gai. Under the law, for all the heroes who want to learn and people who are experienced lawyers, write this down if you don't know, because a lot of immigration lawyers do not know state law. And I had a case wherein I'd argued a while ago that this is a legal marriage. So in one of those cases, the contention from immigration was that I need a marriage certificate under state law, from the state. The answer is no. There is a Supreme Court case, actually a case from New York, and if, every state is different. You need to look into your state law whether religious marriages are recognized. Rule number one. And under New York law, religious marriages are recognized. You do not need a marriage certificate. And if you put that judgment together, immigration comes back and they will tell you that this is federal law. No. Under which amendment of the Constitution the power of marriages lies with the state? Question goes to Greg Ippolito.
Can you rephrase?
Which amendment of the Constitution gives the power of over marriages to the state?
Amendment of the Constitution?
The Constitution, yes.
I don't know that one.
Surah Rahman.
Oh,
Is it the 10th? I'm going to give a tip. Is it the 10th Amendment powers reserved to the state? Or is it the 11th Amendment?
Okay.
it's been a while since I took.
All right. I think it's the 10th Amendment. You guys can look it up. You get one live, look it up. Yes, Suraya.
Yes, 10th Amendment is
Thank
state.
you. So the host gets one more point out here. All this is from the back of my head, folks. So now when immigration comes back to you, you can argue the case by stating that this is the power reserved to the state. And therefore, if New York is recognizing this religious marriage, you do not have the power to tell my client but that my client was not married, and therefore my client is eligible for VAWA. Done it, been there in an adoption case. And they had to throw the towel. These are things that you're going to learn from my legal software, folks. We do complex cases for lawyers. That's why people are joining my legal software. And there's this wonderful team of people who are there to back you up. So you'll always learn when you watch our sessions. That's why people come in for the knowledge. That's why people are signing up with Mubin. That exactly, we want to get our practice to the next level. Next question is going to be fairly easy. I have a client who is sitting with me. And this client was charged with a marriage fraud before. And he has a bar under section 204C of the INA. Now, that person left him because they both fought. They went away. Now this guy's suffering with this 204C with the marriage fraud case on his head. If he's married to the second spouse after this divorce, can that spouse apply for an I-130 again? I-130, the new spouse. Question goes to Greg Ippolito.
Okay, so I believe there's some issues here. When you apply for an I-130, no. But a VAWA, they need to make a new independent conclusion based upon the evidence they have in the current case. They don't get conclusive.
This is the way I would handle the case. Number one is, forget what happened in the past. Your client is married to somebody else. This is a needle from a haystack of coming out of the whole case. If the second spouse is abusive, Even if that I-130 has been denied, that's great news for you. There is light at the end of the tunnel. If you succeed in the second 360, forget the I-130 completely. You have a home run because you're adjusting under different section of the INA. So therefore, even in the first case, there's a marriage fraud case issue. Forget that completely. Concentrate on the 360 in the second marriage. If you're successful in the second marriage, your client will consider you to be a genius because you can still qualify for a green card under that category. Take a simple example. I had a case before. Very interesting case, folks. Client comes to my office. She was crying, screaming about her ex-husband. They went for an immigration interview in Federal Plaza. And the husband was sitting with her. The officer got suspicious about the marriage. Now we're going to come to the EOR 42A before the immigration board in this case. So both husband and wife went for the interview. And the officer got suspicious. And he separated them. And the husband put it in writing that he has married this woman to get her a green card. So the woman came home crying, weeping, and the husband did not take her calls at all. Very soon, they got an NTA, this lady. And when I went in immigration court, like our firm represented the client, we filed an EOIR 42A. That means cancellation of removal under VAWA. And then in that case, we did not have a lot of evidence too. And most lawyers will be shocked. What are we going to do with this case? So in VAWA cases, you can argue as far as if you can prove it to the court that the marriage is bona fide. And there was a reason why that spouse was trying not to have joint documents. You may still have a case and you may win that VAWA too. So in those cases, you need a lot of witnesses and evidence. And guess what? We got that same priest who had married them in the court as the witness. And we did subpoena the priest. The priest came on the stand and said, I remember them talking to me for a long time. And the judge asked a lot of questions to the priest. And guess what? That case was granted. So you're looking from a marriage fraud case to getting a VAWA approved. So remember, VAWA can be a great asset to you in marriage fraud cases that involve 204C. But sometimes the spouses deliberately want the other spouse to suffer and they want them back in the country. And sometimes they deliberately give the wrong testimony when they are before immigration. Doesn't happen all the time, but that may happen to your client. So yeah, Suraya, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a different standard that applies for VAWA petitions. And so, you should always discuss that with your client and see if that might be a good option for them.
All right. Greg, your thoughts on that? Jeopardy starts now.
Jeopardy starts now, yes. So I would agree with Soraya. There's a different set of standards that you can relook at the past case if USCIS or the court is saying 204C attached. And you can have another, it's burden shifting. The burden is on you if they make that determination, but you can fight it and you can explain that the marriage was in fact real and that USCIS's prior determination was false.
All right. My next question goes to Suraya Rahman. And the question is that husband and wife are living in the same household. They are married and they have this one child. But the husband, who's the US citizen over here in this case, actually not a citizen, He's a green card holder. How do I know about it? He just called me 2 minutes ago and he told me he's a green card holder. I'm just kidding. The wife called me and told me he's a green card holder. So in this case, the husband is a green card holder, not a citizen. And he married this lady who crossed the border and she came to the country. And the one child from the wedlock. But this green card holder is making this woman's life miserable. Now, he is so bad that he has not even applied for this woman's green card. And he's telling her that I'm not going to get you the green card. If you do not act in accordance with my whims and fancies, I'm going to get you deported from the United States. Can this woman apply for the 360 in this case? No petition, no I-130 has been filed, nothing has been done.
Yes, absolutely. So she's married to a green
You are correct.
card holder. Okay.
And now, can she also apply for adjustment of status at the same time? The question goes to Greg Ippolito. I cannot hear you, Greg.
Oh, can you repeat that again? I apologize.
This lady entered without inspection. She's married to a green card holder. Now they want to apply for adjustment of status. When they come to you, they want to apply for the 360 and the adjustment of status at the same time. Mind you that she crossed the border and she came in.
Yes.
Immediately. And the person she married is a green card holder. What would you do in this case? What documents are you going to look at before you apply for adjustment of status?
They make exceptions based if the I-360 is approved.
Can I concurrently apply for the 485? You're married to a green card holder here.
Not a U.S. citizen.
Not a U.S. citizen.
So if the I-360 is approved.
No. The question is she's coming to you. Immediately she's telling you, apply for the 360 and 485 together. Would you apply for both of them together? Yes or no?
I would. Yes.
Green card holder,
not you. No. Do the
Rahman, your answer.
I'm sorry, I was just taking a call. If you wouldn't mind repeating the question.
All right.
Do you want me to give it a try, Mr.
Time
Gagné?
out for you. Time out for you. Time out. Time for Suraj Rahman to answer.
It's very
Green card
competitive.
holder is the abuser.
Uh-huh.
Spouse entered without a visa. And now she comes to you, no documents filed by the spouse so far with the immigration. Are you going to apply for adjustment of status concurrently, or are you going to wait until the 360 is approved? Time starts now.
I'm going to apply for it concurrently. There used to be a time when you couldn't because the category for spouse of LPR was not current.
You are correct, and you get 100 points.
Oh, that's a good. Okay.
Because what the attorney did in this case is that she looked at the visa bulletin, and the visa bulletin under F2A says it is current. And since it's current, you can concurrently apply for the 360 and 485 at the same time. Good job. But now there is an issue in this case. Admissibility. Was the person inspected, admitted, or paroled under section 245? Question goes to Suraya Rahman again. No, because the person crossed the border. Yes or no?
I'm sorry, you said.
Do we need a waiver in this case? Because the person has entered without a visa, and which is the form that's needed for the waiver?
So if you're adjusting with under the VAWA provision, the inspection requirement is not there. So you do not have to be inspected to adjust with a VAWA self-petition.
And if I committed a fraud, then what are you going to do? If I came in with someone else's passport?
If you committed a fraud, it depends on the officer might require a waiver.
No, we will need the 601 waiver. That's a requirement. And whom do you show the hardship to? Greg Ippolito.
Hardship to the hardship is to yourself with the VAWA case.
Good job. You get 200 points for that. You made up your point.
Getting up.
So the thing is that, see what happens over here. In VAWA, you can show hardship to yourself. You do not have to show hardship to your parent or your spouse, which is generally required under 212I of the Immigration and Nationality Act. This is an exception to VAWA. So folks, I hope you all are learning. So Mike, can you just show us how MYLS can be useful in these cases? Because Greg uses it for his VAWA cases, so does Surai Rahman. Can you just show us a demo of how this can be useful when you start a VAWA case? And thank you for hosting these sessions. And, of course, I'm the founder, but I owe it to my team. People are coming to my legal software because, even Greg had given a lot of output when we developed my legal software. Continuous output is coming from Greg. Continuous output is coming from a former immigration officer who is away from immigration and she works for us, who's giving constant outputs, how we can improve the program, come up with templates and help lawyers. Mike, you can just display it and we'll show a little bit of how this can be helpful in VAWA cases. Sure. And I can give 5 seconds or 10 seconds to get ready. Take your time. And I'm going to continue this. When you're ready, raise your hand so we can get you in. All right, your hand is already raised. So now Greg is going to show you, and Surai can give an input of how MYLS can be useful in VAWA cases and in cases involving I-360s. Greg, you can proceed. And after that, Nobeen can do the talking. Then I will be back in 5 or 10 minutes. Then we'll continue this particular program again with question and answers, one live quizzes, so people can learn advanced issues in VAWA, or a lot more to go on advanced issues in VAWA.
Okay. So on my LS, Mike, you're there? You're sharing?
Yes, I am. I am sharing.
Okay, great. So I use my LS every day, all the time. It stays open the entire time I'm at work. Okay. It'll help you with applications. I don't know if you see, if you click on case notes on the very top, there. If I get someone in the office, they'll say to me, Greg, client 1378's calling. I don't know what's going on, right? I can just go to notes, look at the case summary. If you scroll up, there should be case summary. And this is a test, but boom, it would have everything I needed to know. VAWA petitioner, married to an LPR, entry without inspection, prior marriage fraud. And instantly I would know exactly what I have to do or is being done. If you go down to case assignments, I don't know if it's there, or task ticket, excuse me. Task ticket. There's nothing here, but I would just assign the VAWA case. I would write it in, and then I can assign it to a specific person who I know is working on the case. Or in the alternative, I could just see who's working on the case and I could call them directly if I have a problem. If you go further down, you will see files, uploaded files. And in upload, I don't know, it's the demo, but if you go to uploaded files, we have everything from the retainer. So the accountant will look through every case and make sure the accounting's fine and matches the retainer and that payments are being made. The retainer will have the scope of engagement, so we know specifically what we're doing. And what we'll do is we'll upload all the necessary information. If there's a police report, we upload the police report. Mr. Gehi was talking about prior marriage fraud. So we would have that I-130 denial from 10 years ago. I could take a look at it. I could see if they made any mistakes and develop a strategy how to best fight it. Then we would have we always do a Freedom of Information Act request, especially with people of past immigration history. We would upload that. We'll have all the submitted documents, birth certificates, any biographical information. It's all right there. I don't need to go look for it. And if you go to parties, you will then have all their contact information, which is also summarized at the very, very top of the screen. So if I need to pick up the phone and call them, I say, hey, we're missing your birth certificate. Hey, I need you to come in and sign the affidavit. I could send them an email, call them. It's automatic. It's instant. It saves, it allows me to work on an order of magnitude as many cases as I would have without the system.
Greg, there's one thing which I like that you did in the system with Surah, of course, with Surah Rahman, is that you're given a lot of input because you also have an EOIR calendar over here. So when people can go, they have a master calendar hearing, they have an individual hearing. Now that can be very handy in a VAWA case. I'm talking about before cancellation or removal cases. That can also be used for other removal defense cases, which I don't think so I've seen any program that has that EOIR calendar. Look at this. You won't find this anywhere.
Yeah,
we don't have to deep dive into it. So they have a master calendar hearing, wherein you can check your master calendars, individual hearing, call updates, all updates. This is something that was actually developed by lawyers, because you need a lawyer to sit and do this who does removal defense. And these are some of the things we can show them later on, which I think, Greg, we can show that later on, because I want to move on with the session. But they can get in touch with Mubin, who's Mike. Mike can show them of how we have the individual hearing, master calendar hearing. This is one of the best things I like, because I do a lot of removal defense. And this is actually developed by thanks to Greg and to Soraya for giving in tremendous feedback. And this is something that we pride that MYLS has, because lawyers are developing this regularly. What is the use of all these things that you have, Greg, in the courtroom? And when you are having your, what do you call it, your call-up dates coming up, and how does it help you a lot to look up the call-up dates and everything?
Okay, the call updates, because we put it all in. If you go back to like the case, you'll see events, and we put in the events. I mean, I especially since a lot of hearings have gone remote. When I go to a hearing, you know, I'm on WebEx like I am now, or Zoom, and I just leave MyLS open. And if the judge says, hey, did you send, like, what date did you send in the call up? We don't have it. I can say we sent it on this date. This is what we submitted, and here's the tracking number. It arrived at the court.
This is where artificial intelligence come in. People are talking about it, and we've already incorporated it for you. The judge is talking to you, already have it in the fingertips. So the trial attorney and the judge doesn't have to worry. You can even tell the judge, I have records of everything you want. That is inbuilt in MYLS. So you'll never be handicapped when you're doing something on WebEx. You also have WebEx over here, correct? You can use WebEx from here. You can use Google Meet. You can use Zoom. You do everything from here, Greg.
Yeah, you know, like even like and this is a true story. I was at a hearing, several months ago. The court lost their record, and I just read my, I said the last hearing was on September whatever, 20th, 2019. Here are my notes, and I just read my notes, and she, oh, okay, and it worked out perfectly.
The judge was impressed.
If not, we would have had to reschedule for another hearing. We would have had to resubmit everything. Instead, I just had it right there. I could send it all in an email, dates, tracking numbers. It's protection for the attorney.
It's a lifesaver for you.
Yes.
Good. And also use the audit features that, Mubin can go, Mike can talk to them about at a later stage. And also you have tons of templates, I believe, which you store. And that really makes your job very easy. And even your paralegal can use it. Greg, there's a big misconception that people have. And you need to clear that up with people. People think, it's difficult to learn MYLS. How many hours it took for you or anyone to learn this? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to learn this entire system? How easy is this to use compared to other systems that you use?
So it's intuitive. It's
how
all
easy
there.
Is this for you to use?
It's easy. So I would say to learn it very quickly, instantaneously. The other side is, though, I find different things in here every day that I didn't know about.
See, that's great. So the thing is that you can hone your skills and you can have everything. MYLS, this software is an academic institution for lawyers. You can, it's like exactly a master platform wherein you can really, really get a certification that this goes that far, folks. So if you want to be a brilliant lawyer in the courtroom, you want to be that top trial lawyer. It's also meant for general practice lawyers because Greg also does criminal law sometimes. So use GP speed over there. So it's not only Greg doesn't practice immigration only. He does some criminal, he does other things also in the firm. Sometimes he bumps into matrimonial cases.
Yes.
So he looks at things over there, correct?
Yes, we
Other
do
general
a
practice
wide variety. We at Gehi & Associates, we have a wide variety of practices.
It's good for everything. So there's a specialized immigration version. There's a specialized GP speed that's meant for all lawyers. Now, other thing which I like is that even if people are using other software, they can integrate with it. But there are some immigration software which only give you forms, but this is your motherboard. This can also be integrated, and Mo can talk to you a lot about it, how that can be integrated. Now, people have transferred the data from other softwares. It's easy to transfer. They can put it in the template section, and we can go ahead with that. So thank you so much. Let's get back now to our question and answers, a legal quiz. Mike,
now I'm nervous.
all right, the quiz starts again so people can learn. Mike, how can people contact you? Can you unmute, please?
Sorry about that. So they can contact me on 934 Law Tech, or they can look us up on our website, mylegalsoftware.com, and they can reach out to us via email.
And what is your email address? So if you could type it in the box so people can see that.
Yes, certainly, I'll do so.
Schedule a demo, if you could put that up so people can schedule a demo with you. How can they schedule a demo? Can you put that in the box or give them instructions?
Sure, I will do that in a bit. Just to touch on one point with Greg. Greg, with you working on sensitive documents, with the upload feature, it is uploaded to a cloud and it's encrypted. So every file that you do upload is safe and cannot be hacked.
Yes,
I hope
so that's
so.
very important because MYL has
We'd
some
be in big
amazing
trouble if
encrypted-
that were not true.
We do
But-
have the state-of-the-art system.
Yeah. Oh, that's great to know. Yeah, that's great. Like I said, I even showed the clients. I use it. The clients come in the office, and I just turn the computer. I go, "This is your, this is, how we review your case." I mean, people are impressed by it. It makes everything a lot easier, communication a lot easier. I have it open in court, and I can all the time. It's
Good to know. So Mike, how can people get in touch with you? So before you start the quiz again, and we put people on the hot seat to get a passing score or to get the number one score, let's basically kind of, see how people can contact you.
Sure. So like I mentioned before, it's 934 Law Tech. Alternatively, www.mylegalsoftware.com or
It's so
direct
easy. You're
email.
saying it's mylegalsoftware.com. They can go there and they can get in touch with you. Or they can, how can they schedule a demo with you? mylegalsoftware.com or 934 Law Tech.
Correct. Even on our website, it's big, schedule a demo. It'll pop up right to our sales consultants, and any one of us will be there to take those messages in, contact you, and schedule a demo. It's
All
that
right,
easy.
mike.mo@mylegalsoftware.com, or basically
Correct.
we can take it further from there. Now, if people have questions, if you're watching it, if you want to learn VAWA, this is your time to ask us questions. And I want our moderators over here to display the questions that are being asked. Suraya, are you ready for our next question? Greg, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So now I have the situation here. I have a client who comes to me, and she's from El Salvador. And this woman, when she was in El Salvador, she was a victim of domestic abuse from her boyfriend. And the boyfriend is constant, and she's been here for 4 years. And she came in with a visa here. And she forgot about her old boyfriend, who was very, very abusive. And then after that, she thought life will be better for her. She married another man who was an American citizen. But unfortunately, the person she married was also a very abusive human being. And this wonderful woman was not very educated. And this US citizen filed a divorce against her. And this woman was divorced because she did not understand English properly. Now she is divorced. And it's been 4 years since she's divorced. Now she comes and she meets Greg in the office and tell her, can you apply for my I-360 and get me a green card? What would be your answer, Greg?
My answer would be, if she did not know, if the divorce was done behind her back, correct? Then she can argue she was not notified of the divorce.
You're wrong on this question.
So it's bright line rule. 2 years after the divorce?
That a good lawyer would do, and this is where good lawyers differ from the regular lawyers. That's why they say it takes a little more to be a champion.
Okay.
What I would do, when you have a VAWA client coming into your office, don't just give up the case by saying that it's been 4 years, you've been divorced, and I cannot file your battered spouse application. Even seasoned lawyers are going to look at me, they'll be raising the eyebrows and saying that, is Naresh correct or is he kidding with me? I'm not kidding, folks. What you need to do in this case, consult with your client very carefully and see whether CPLR was properly followed in the state in which we are located. And under the CPLR, make sure in states such as New York, whether the person was properly served or no. Whether the person who served was an actual process server or was it someone who was a friend who tried to effect service. Because some of these people, they use friends who do not even serve your client and they get a divorce. So start with the motion to vacate the default judgment first.
Okay.
And
Now
after
I'm with
that, the next thing in a state like New York, there will be a traverse hearing. And at the traverse hearing, sometimes these process servers also don't even remember when they served or what happened. If it was an old service, even 18 years ago, or that process server may not be coming to court. What you did? Your client will say, you're a genius. You got that divorce vacated, and then you apply for VAWA. And if you win, you'll be a great lawyer. Motion to vacate default judgment is something that is missed by most immigration lawyers. Done.
Missed by me.
Missed by you. Surya, are you there?
I don't think so.
I
Well, ask me
I
another
am.
tough one.
All right. How was this? Was this a good one?
That
He
is a
caught-
good one.
He
You're
caught
giving
me.
away all your
Soraya.
secrets.
I'm giving away a lot of my secrets, of course. So this is what the difference. When I practice law, I used to be a litigator. That's what I used to do. I think outside the box. So the question is that fighting VAWA cases is not easy. And, since you went to immigration in, what do you call that? This is something else, which I'm kind of basically on a different note. I want to say something for people who love listening to me from, about different areas of the law. So Surya, I was before a judge. And most commonly, this is in asylum cases, people think that when you apply for domestic abuse, most judges have this kind of mindset that it can only be a social group case. How many of you would agree with the judges that it's only a social group case? Raise your hands. That applies to Greg and to Surya.
Are
Disagree.
you talking about VAWA?
No, I'm talking about asylum cases now,
Oh.
because I'm switching gears here.
Oh,
Deliberate-
PSGs. Yeah, okay.
No, domestic abuse. And the judge is saying that I think you only have a shot under social group. Would you agree with the judge in all cases or would you disagree with the judge? but there's no political involved here at all. Can religion be involved in these cases? Is my question.
Yes. Can religion be involved? Religion and domestic abuse be involved in asylum cases? Of course.
Not in asylum cases, in a domestic abuse case in particular.
So it depends on the facts of the case. So
Good job. So never throw the towel when the judge ever tells you that it's a social group case, because sometimes religion plays a very important role when it comes to social group. Take an example. There are some religions, for example, in Hinduism, that a woman has to do certain things because it's a part of religion and it's also a part of social group. So in those cases, always mark not only social group, because you learned it in your CLE class when it's only social group, because most of them just teach you that it's only social group. Always mark religion if exactly religion is an element of that particular social group issue. Then you have two bites of the apple to argue the case, because in the past, when the past Attorney General said that I'm not going to allow social group, then I used to fight those cases under religion. People are learning something here. Because the former Attorney General, I forgot his name, said that domestic abuse is not a part of social group. So you need to explore the possibility of using religion, and you can look into the scriptures. Add that in, you have a damn good case. Even if you don't fail under social group, you may still win under religious group. I've had that too before the court. Law is all about creativity. Law is all about basically thinking outside the box. And if you're good at thinking outside the box, you'll be a damn good lawyer. And as I said, I'm speaking in my capacity as the speaker on this forum. And I want to make it clear that the speakers are from Gay and Associates, which is a different law firm altogether and doesn't have a connection with my legal software. So that's a waiver right there. And I'm speaking in my capacity as the founder, and this has no connection with Gay and Associates. And we make that very clear to everyone over here. And if anyone who has a case, and it's a very complicated case, Gay and Associates can also help you on a separate note that we take up cases which are referred by other law firms too. So now it's time for us to kind of basically, I think this is definitely going to need a part 3. And I'm sure a lot of people might be enjoying this. And next time we are going to teach you how to conduct a VAWA trial in the courtroom. When you have very little or scant evidence, how can you still fight the case and try to win it? And there are going to be some tips that you may not even have imagined that can be used by you. And the government is going to be upset. So they'll tell you this is not admissible. We'll also talk about admissibility of evidence in immigration at our next session as to how to get your evidence admitted, how the government objects, and how you can basically move up to the judge and tell them that this should be admitted at our next session. And before we leave, this has been a full session, and I'm sure you all have enjoyed it. Thanks to my legal software. And Mike, you can just let people know how to get in touch with you so you can give your demos. And if they need any help with immigration, my legal software is always there. If you join my legal software, we'll also be on the help desk panel of my legal software to help you. Thank you, folks. And we'll be winding up a little quicker today. And yes, Greg, you have any questions, or do you want to know your square on my program today?
Thank you for having us, Mr. Gehi. It was
You
a
get
pleasure.
1,000 points for the good work.
Okay. I won in the
Soraya
end.
Rahman, your score.
My flattery worked. See, Soraya?
Soraya, what's your score? Tell me.
I'm just thank you for having me.
You get 1,000 points too, and the one man who lost the program, the loser of today was Naresh and Gehi, because he did not answer any questions. You both can give me my score now. And Mike from my legal software has the final call on giving me my score today. Mike, give me a score. 0, 1, 2. Make sure it's less than 1,000.
No, definitely you're going to be far more superior than that. More than superior. I think
I'm going to give Mike my points. Mike,
all
you
right,
can have
thank
my
you so
points.
much. A big round of applause to the entire panel, to everybody today. Thank you all. Let's clap for Soraya Rahman and for Greg and for Mike for putting up such a great show. This was awesome. Watch us 2 weeks from now. So what would be that day, Mike? This is the final question that goes to you. The clock starts now. It is going to be the 27th. Can we check whether that's the correct
I
date?
think I have a,
It is the correct date, 27.
All right, so we got one more question correct on today's show. Be ready for the 27th of April for the next round of advanced issues, part 3 of VAWA, which is going to be very interesting for seasoned lawyers to attend of how to fight those cases. Part 3 of VAWA will be on 27th of April, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for any more questions, you may get in touch with Mike at 934 Law Tech. If you want to know more about immigration or about the software, Mike is the person to reach out to. Thank you all. We'll be back again with the next round. All 3 of us will be with you next time again on the 27th. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.